Hey guys, one of the most frustrating things to marketing is dealing with bad leads, tire kickers, price shoppers, and just dealing with people you don't want to deal with in general that comes through leads. So today, sitting here at the farm, this is where we store all of our equipment for my concrete company. I'm gonna be dropping a banger for you guys. It's gonna be all about how can we actually generate quality leads, not just any leads. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tyler Link. I own and operate my own $4 million a year concrete company, as well as own Concrete CEO, which is a marketing agency for concrete contractors, where we spend over $1 million a year in paid ads. So needless to say, I've been in marketing for a while. We do a lot of marketing, and I have a lot of value to drop for you guys today based on lead quality. All right, first one that we got for you guys is be extremely cautious and cognizant about what images, what videos, and what ads that your market is seeing. And I'm gonna give you guys a story about this to kind of demonstrate what I mean. So for instance, one of the companies that I actually work with, they do large scale projects. So think like big foundations, industrial concrete, etc. And that is the only type of job that they do. And so when we were working with them to build out their ad campaign, we were very cautious not to put things in like patios, driveways, or basically small little stuff that they were not interested in. And here is what happened, okay? So although their lead cost is a lot higher than our typical, even just last week, the client called us and he was super pumped. And he's like, man, guess what happened? We're like, what, man? He's like, dude, based on my ads, basically a developer saw my ad, they were scrolling on Facebook, saw my ad. From that ad, they went and visited my website. And just like what you guys said, they checked out my pictures, they looked at what we were about. The developer realized that we were the exact type of concrete company that he wanted to work with. And now I'm quoting 14 homes for this developer, all of the foundations, all of the flat work, etc. Each project is gonna be about 60 to 70,000. These aren't huge homes, but still, if you do that math, just with one opportunity, he was able to generate $900,000 worth of work potentially. Pretty dang cool. So the big learning lesson from that is if you want a certain type of project, you have to be very cautious and cognizant to only include that type of stuff on your website, on your ads, what you talk about. You only want to show what you want to attract. Number two, and specifically with paid ads, is to do what I like to call adding friction, okay? So here's what I mean by that. So when we put out a Facebook ad, and let's just say it's a super generic ad, and we want to make it as easy as possible for someone to get in contact with us, what a lot of marketing agencies say is that what they want, or that's what you want. You want just their name, phone number, email, maybe address, maybe even not address, and that's it. And although that drives the lowest quality lead because there's no friction, it's very easy for someone to reach out to you, it also provides no qualifiers. So here's what you do. Essentially, if you're running a Facebook ad or running any type of ad, and then what you're noticing that you're getting back is junk, then what you have to do is add friction. You have to make it harder. So now instead of imagine just getting their contact info at the very end, we also say, hey, what's your budget? $10,000 to $20,000, $20,000 to $30,000, or $30,000 plus. If someone does not have a budget of $10,000, they will basically look at that ad and be like, oh, damn, I guess this isn't for me. And they'll keep scrolling. So what does that do? That filters out the people who are serious, right? But it also is gonna increase your lead cost. But here's the cool thing to that is we are doing what is called pixel conditioning, meaning if Facebook sees and Instagram sees, really any ad platform sees that only a certain type of person fills out a lead form, well, this is what Facebook and Instagram are really good at because they will go after more and more and more of the right type of person over time. And so I never, to be clear, I never start an ad campaign and adding friction. That is not what we do. However, if we are running into lead quality issues, these are the things that we implement after the fact to then train the pixel on the right type of person that we want filling out the form. Another thing is you need to understand the difference between an in-market demographic and a needs convinced, okay? Let me describe the difference. In market, and just keep in mind, this is only about 3% of people that are out there currently. But in market means that they not only know that they have a problem, but they are actively trying to solve that problem. So think of if I'm someone and I know that I want concrete work done and I am currently looking for quotes, that is my in-market demographic. Needs convinced is someone who, say they come home every day, they look at their driveway, it looks like total crap, but they're not necessarily ready to get a quote now. They just know that it needs to be done one day. So here's the main gist, right? In market is only 3 to 4% of the current market versus needs convinced is about 30 to 40% of people. And so if you're struggling with lead quality, one of the things you want to check is if you are talking to someone that is in market or needs convinced. Because if you're talking to someone that needs convinced, it's going to be way harder to sell. All right, just so you guys can understand what I'm talking about, let me give you guys a, let's just say fake ad off the top of my head for in market versus someone who's need convinced. So here's an in market ad. You would say something like, hey, looking to get concrete quotes, but not sure who to go with to get a quality product? Well, here at my concrete company, here are the 3 things that we do to give a quality product. And then I would go on to do that, right? Basically what I'm trying to do is they already know that they want it, so I'm just trying to sell them on me. Versus needs convinced, and this is what I see a ton of people doing, and then they get leads back that aren't really ready to buy yet, and they don't understand why. This is why. They say, hey, are you a blank homeowner in the area and you're tired of looking at your ugly driveway? Well, currently we have a discount going on and blah, 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 blah. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get someone from needs convinced, they already know that they have ugly concrete, and try to give them a reason to act now. But if you really think about it, that person was not really ready to get an estimate, and you're trying to convert them, right? Converting someone is hard versus selling to someone who already has an existing problem they want to solve today is much easier. So as an advertiser, what I always start with is my in-market demographic, my in-market ads. Once we exhaust that, then I move to needs convinced if we need to keep growing. Hey guys, if you love these strategies and you're a little overwhelmed to implement this type of stuff on your own because maybe you're not so technical savvy, that is exactly what us here at Concrete CEO do. It is our specialty where we actually implement these strategies for you so you don't have to learn them yourself. If you want to learn more about that, I'll leave a link down below in the description. Number 4 is use discounts sparingly, okay? If you guys think about it, all of your luxury brands out there, think of like Gucci or Prada or really anything like that, Ferrari. Do you think that they're running ads, oh, buy your Ferrari today for 20% off? Like, how stupid does that sound coming from a brand like Ferrari? We would all look at that and be like, whoa, what the heck's happened to Ferrari? Have they lost their mind? Long story short is, if you guys want to advertise discounts, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but just know what you are going to get. You are going to get a discount shopper. Okay? So if you're going to advertise for a discount, be prepared because people are going to be coming to you expecting a discount and expecting a cheap product, okay? So I see marketers do this all the time, and I see people do this all the time. They're trying to create urgency, scarcity. They're doing all of these things, which is great. They're great to get your cost per lead down, but they're not great to attract the right type of buyer. So if your quality is low, be careful if you're doing that. Number 5 is we have pre-framing best practices, okay? So pre-framing means this is the type of information that we want people to see that knows about our company, right? So think about this, for instance. Imagine, this is what most people do. Imagine if they fill out a contact form on your website and it immediately just goes to a generic, thanks for contacting us, we'll be in contact shortly. Okay, that's one thing. But what if, imagine someone filled out a form on a website and after that, we had a confirmation video and it said everything that we do that is quality about our product. Say for instance, with my company, we use road base, we have a 3-year warranty, we use high quality concrete specifically for driveways in particular. We actually use a CDOT mix because we get really bad spalling here in Colorado. And basically what I'm doing is I'm educating the customer on why we're so great while they're already in the buying mood. Right? We could even do certain things, like for instance, what I have set up in my company is when someone reaches out for a quote, they automatically will start getting value-based emails showing them things like our reviews, before and afters, talking about our process, really pre-framing my company as the authority. Right? And so even though they might not have been a super quality lead at first, we are educating them into becoming a quality customer. A word of mouth lead is going to be higher quality, right? Lower than that is going to be your Google organic. Lower than that is going to be Google ads. Lower than that is going to be Facebook ads. Lower than that's going to be a Facebook ad with a discount promo, yada, yada, yada. And typically what you're seeing is as you move down the chain of quality lead source, your cost per lead is going to go down. So if you want it, you might just have to get lead sources from higher up the totem pole, right? And so really think about this. A lot of people even, for instance, are like, oh, I love word of mouth leads. Well, how often are you purposely trying to get more word of mouth leads? Frickin' guy. Oh, whatever. We can just do that as a blooper or something. Oh. Sorry guys, got the chickens here. Long story short, if you want a better quality lead, they are actually the hardest leads to get, right? Word of mouth leads, Google organic, SEO leads. They take the most upfront investment and commitment to be a great company, have a great product, increase your Google organic rankings. But if you want better leads over time, then you have to strategically focus on getting more leads. I see new guys all the time in particular, they just want to grow super fast and they want to throw up Facebook ads, which don't get me wrong, that's great. But if you want to convert into better quality leads over time, you have to actually think about your strategy for getting more word of mouth leads, more Google SEO leads, etc. Number 7 is speed to lead, okay? And I remember very vividly when I first got into sales, and I remember we got a lead and I called them back. I think it was like 12 hours later. And I was like pretty proud. I was like, yeah, I called my lead pretty fast. So my sales manager was like, dude, what are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, I called them back within like 12 hours. He's like, whoa, Tyler, dude, we need to reset your expectations. He's like, I want you to picture this. Imagine if you have a banana, okay? And you go outside and you set that banana down on a hot pavement, like think asphalt, it's black, super hot, 100-degree day. He's like, imagine coming back to that banana in 12 hours. He's like, you think that's still gonna be pretty good? I was like, damn, I mean, probably not. It's probably gonna be gross, mushy, might even be spoiled by that point. He's like, exactly. He's like, think about your leads in that way. And ever since then, it reframed my thought pattern as far as fast. And it's so true. If someone fills out a form right now, they're interested in basically getting a project done, and then people reach out to them a day later, 12 hours later, and they're like, man, they're no longer interested. And man, what's so funny is you guys do the same thing. I can't tell you how many of you guys fill out a form on my marketing website, and by the next day, you might land a project. You're like, oh, don't need marketing anymore. My business is set. It's like the stupidest thing ever. But long story short, your customers are gonna think the same thing. One day, they're gonna be pulling into the driveway. Maybe they're gonna walk down to the mailbox, they're gonna trip on the crack on their driveway, they're gonna be super pissed. And they're gonna say, God dang it, I need to get my driveway done, I'm so sick of this. They're gonna try to call people, they're gonna be ready to fix that problem right there. The next day, they're gonna forget about the pain about tripping. They're gonna be like, I guess it wasn't that big a deal. I was just emotional yesterday, blah, 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 blah. And every single day, it's gonna get worse. So if you want the highest quality leads, then you need to catch people when they are hot to buy and hot to trot, which is basically now. Right the second they call you, you better be ready to talk. If you guys want help setting up these strategies for you instead of you having to do it yourself or working with that stupid marketer that you're currently working with, fill out the form down below. I'll leave the info about our marketing program, and I will see you guys in the next video.